Okay, this next challenge coin or collector coin is for the battleship USS Tennessee, hull number BB-43. This is one of the 12 battleships built in the 1910s and the early 1920s. And thus they were built to a pretty standard set of design specs, including having 14-inch guns arranged in triple turrets. Anyway, the Tennessee was actually a lead ship in a class of, I believe it was 2 ships. Tennessee in California. These were built at the very tail end of World War I, and neither would be completed until 1920 in the case of Tennessee, and in the case of her sister ship, 1921. The sister ship being USS California, BB-44. Pardon me.
And here we go. USS Tennessee BB-43. She's a standard built just before World War I or just during World War I. Standard because they were all basically a similar design. Small layouts which caused the various different classes. Here's the reverse of the Tennessee. The gold is showing up on this coin. The gold, or gold plating, whatever it is. Anyway, that's the seal of the U.S. Navy there.
Now, Tennessee, along with the other battleships of the Pacific Fleet, or most of the other battleships, were in Pearl Harbor on 7 December. Also present were several cruisers, several destroyers, several support vessels, and lighter escorts. The aircraft carriers were luckily out at sea that morning, and several of the battleships were actually in the States getting repairs and upgrades when the Japanese struck. So, as bad as it was, it could have been worse. Tennessee and California both will be in the Anchorage. California will be moored at. Both will be moored on Battleship Row. California will be moored at the first quay as the only ship there. Tennessee will be at the 4th quay with the Battleship West Virginia alongside of the battleships Maryland and Oklahoma directly ahead of her, and the Arizona directly astern. Tennessee will take at least 2 heavy bomb hits, which were actually converted large caliber naval shells during the battle, which will knock out part or all of her number 3 turret on the first shell, and the second shell will take out the number 2 turret completely. But other than that, her damage is light. West Virginia taking the brunt of the damage sent at her in Tennessee, and she ends up sinking. She ends up sailing straight down, more or less. She does push sideways as she goes down, pushing Tennessee off station and trapping her against the quay. Maryland experiences the same problem when the Oklahoma is sunk, because Oklahoma actually Maryland's problem is worse because Oklahoma will roll as she sinks. And in rolling, she pushes Maryland further against the quay. Again, trapping her just like Tennessee's trapped by West Virginia. And California, unfortunately, is sunk outright, as is Arizona. But Arizona is sunk because one of those converted naval shells that's dropped as a bomb hits her, and it penetrates down into her forward powder magazine, causing the entire shell room to explode and ripping her keel in half, basically. Um, Nevada was astern of the Oklahoma, or no, astern of the Arizona, pardon me. Has got some boilers fired up and has managed to get up a little bit of steam. And so even though she's taken damage in the first wave at Pearl Harbor, she manages to slip and is getting underway when the second wave hits and the captain deliberately grounds the ship. And California is pretty heavily damaged and sunk. Meanwhile, so you have California sunk, Maryland trapped, Oklahoma sunk, Tennessee damaged, West Virginia and trapped, I should say. West Virginia sunk, Arizona sunk, and Nevada run aground, which leaves the last remaining battleship at Pearl Harbor, the Pennsylvania, who is in a dry dock with 2 destroyers. And the attack on the dry dock is so severe that the 2 destroyers are burned, pretty much completely gone. They've managed to, and the fires from the destroyers burning are so intense that it bubbles paint and maybe warps some hull plates on the Pennsylvania's bow. By the 16th of December, all 3 ships have been recovered. Their hull plates are fixed, their rivets are secured, and on December 20th, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee get underway to go back to the continental United States for repairs. Pennsylvania goes to Mare Island, while Tennessee and Maryland go to Puget Sound for repairs. Tennessee will remain on the West Coast off and on, going into and out of repair and upgrading off and on through until May of 1943. At the end of May 1943, Tennessee is released from repair and posting to the West Coast Squadron, and is sent to Alaska for operations to reclaim the islands of Attu and Kiska, which the Japanese invaded on in June 1942. And that's the first of her actual battles outside since Pearl Harbor. After the Aleutians, she engages in the Gilbert and Marshall Islands campaign, taking part in the Battle of Tarawa, the Battle of Kwajalein, the Battle of Eniwetok. I always have problems pronouncing that one. Don't know why. Later taking part in the fighting around the Bismarck Archipelago, which then moves on to the Mariana and Palau Islands campaign, taking part in the Battle of Saipan, the Battle of Guam, the Battle of Tinian, or the 1944 Battle of Guam, I should say, the Battle of Anguar. Then she takes part in the Philippines campaign, engaging in the Battle of Leyte, the Battle of Surigao Strait. Then she gets through 1944. 1945, she's at the Battle of Iwo Jima and the Battle of Okinawa. After the war ends, Tennessee is placed in reserve. And she'll, on 8 December, she'll remain . in reserve, and she's being prepared for decommissioning. And she is formally decommissioned on 14 February 1947. She remains in reserve for 12 years, and she's stricken from the Naval Register on 1 March 1959, and is ultimately sold for scrap. Her bell is preserved and is in a museum in Huntsville, Tennessee, Scott County, which is Scott County. Tennessee. Well, stop that. Anyway, that's everything. So have a nice day.